All right, we're going to carry on now with this, with the watch modeling, and we're going to do the stuff on the front here. I mean, normally, again, like I said, I think in my last video, you would probably use a texture for this, but I'm going to do it in modeling because this is a modeling tutorial. All right, so let's do this. Let's come in here and select this front face. I'm in face selection. I just press 3, Shift S, cursor to select it, and bring the 3D cursor right to that front face. And we're going to do the little tick marks first. So I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm going to actually shut off the subdivision for now. Just it's less distracting. All right, so I'm going to bring in a plane. I'm in object mode now. I'm in edit mode. Scale it down. Rotate X90, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to scale it down and get approximately the size of this tick. And it may not be as centered. I mean, it's centered on our watch, but it's not that centered on the diagram. In fact, maybe I can come and grab the diagram, GX, and just move it a little bit. Might be a little nicer. All right, so let's grab that plane again if I can. There it is. And I'm going to grab here, and let's go into vertex selection. And actually, I want to make the small ones first. So I take that back, I'm going to scale it. And I'm just sort of trying to match roughly this size, but in the middle position. All right, so let's make it a little bit bigger. And it doesn't matter if it's exactly the same as the diagram. So we're going to start with something like that. So there it is. I'm going to move it off the surface a little bit, and sometimes I'll turn the shadow on. That helps you tell where it is. I'm going to extrude back till it hits X faces. Delete that back face. Now, this may be flipped, so I'm going to Alt-N, recalculate outside. It was flipped. Now, I want to round this a little bit. I could use the bevel modifier, but I think I'm going to do this by hand. No, I am going to use the bevel modifier. I take it back. So bevel, I'm going to go, let's try 2 and 0.01 maybe. Yeah, see, it's pretty small. I take it back. I've decided I am going to bevel it by hand, so I'm going to select these corners here. And I'm going to bevel, Control B and pull. There's 2, 3, and I may go up to 5 to get it nice and smooth. It's a lot of polys, but we're just doing what we're doing. Shift Alt and click this edge and Control B. This one I can bring back to 3. So there's 2, 3. All right, so I have that piece. I'm not worried about shading right now. And that's going to be our tick, like that. My 3D cursor is right here. I'm going to switch over to the 3D cursor and go into edit mode and make sure that's selected. And we're going to use the spin tool. Come over here, click the spin tool. And we want to spin around like this, so not in the X, but in the Y. So I'm going to click here and start just dragging. And you can see this happening. Now, it looks all weird and wobbly. So I'm going to open the spin box, and I'm going to click on Use Duplicates. And I'm going to set this at 360. And I'm just going to start increasing the number. And of course, there are some bigger ones. We'll deal with that in a second. I think that's correct. There are 60 seconds. I'm going to switch back to this, and I'm going to go into edit mode for all of them. Make sure I've got just the ticks selected. Go into edit mode for all of them. M, merge by distance. And it actually got rid of some vertices. So let's get out of wireframe and just have a look at that. So we've got some tick marks. All right, now as you can see, some of them are bigger, the 12 and this one and this one. So what I'm going to do is go into edit mode of the tick marks again. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm going to select, I think what I'll do is I'll select a little bit, even just hold down shift and select one vertex from each of them, and Control L to select all of it. So I'm just going to, I can box select there, Control L periodically, just wherever these big ones are. And just try not to get anything but the big ones. So little bits, and then Control L, that will select what's linked, in other words, the rest of the object. This one, and this one, and this one. Control L. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm going to switch over to individual origins, and that's going to allow me to scale each of these objects independently of each other. So if I press S, I can just pull, and it'll make them bigger, and it's also making them longer, which is great. So if I do that, that's pretty good. Let me just see that they look a little bit bigger than the other ones. A little bit. I wouldn't mind doing a bit more. So I select them, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to median point. I'm going to press S. Let's just see. That's going to pull them in like that. It's kind of a neat effect. It offsets them a little bit, and we can see where the bigger ones are. If I wanted to, and it wasn't going to take too much time, I could even, in wireframe, deselect, just box select the ends. I want to do it in vertex selection because this is not just 2 points, it's got some thickness to it. So if I just come around and keep hitting box select and selecting B and drag a rectangle around, B, B. They're a little off the diagram, but that's just the way it is. And so just pressing B, and I'm box selecting just the vertices that I want, and you'll see what I'm going to do. Okay, I think I've got them all, just the end ones. In median point, I'm going to press S, I'm going to pull into the middle, and just hold Shift, and I'm just making them a little bit longer. Okay, let's have a look at that now. So this is what we've got. Let's take these, go in and Alt-N, recalculate outside, make sure they're facing the right way. I kind of want them a little taller, so I'm going to take them all, and I'm going to SY, scale in the Y, make them a little bit thicker like that, and then just push them out. Just making sure that they pretty much make contact, and then they stand out a little bit better. Okay, so we have that done, and now we want to do this piece here, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to select one of these, deselect, select a little bit, Control L to get it all, and I'm going to Shift D to duplicate. Now, I know I'm building it here, but I'm going to use it over there. So I've got that. I'm going to press P, separate by selection, and that's going to make this an independent object, not attached to all these. I'm going to come into this one, and I'm going to box select here, and I'm going to SX, scale it in the X, and just make a shape that I think is kind of similar to the other ones, like that. All right. That's the approximate position. So let's switch back to 3D cursor right there. So my pivot while I'm in edit mode is that. And let's try the spin tool again. In the Y, pull it. Okay. Set it to 360 degrees. Use duplicates, but I don't want 60. Whoops, what happened? Use duplicates. And now I've got 12 of them. They're lining up here and here. I've got another one there, I don't need it, but I've got there, there, don't need that one, there, there, don't need that one, there, there. That's actually pretty good. So let's commit to that. Let's just accept that. Go in, merge by distance, and then let's just get rid of what we don't want. That one. Box select that one. Box select that one. And box select that one. Control L, X, vertices. And we should have what we need. Now they're a little close to these guys, so I may take them and in median point, press S to scale and just pull them downwards like that, a little bit away. All right, so we're making our own watch similar to this, ever so slightly differently. All right, it's time. Let's turn the subdivision back on. That'll make it look a little bit better. Let's do the numbers now. So we're going to add some text. I've got my 3D cursor there. Shift A and choose text. And I'm going to rotate X 90. And I've got some text. I'm going to scale it down. And let's come over here to the font dialog box. And let's scroll down to here where it says alignment. I'm going to align it center. And pull this up. And as soon as I go into edit mode, I can backspace and write 12 and then tab back into object mode. So I have a 12. I'm going to give this some thickness. So under geometry, extrude, just hold shift and pull to the right and just turn. Don't make it too big. You know, something like that. Maybe even a little bit thinner than that. And just make sure it makes contact. And then underneath there we have bevel. Just use a little bit or your text may break. Just a little bit to round it a bit. But then you may want to choose a different font. So in the font dialog box, I will find where it says font here, open that up, and under this regular spot here, just open the folder. It should take you right to your Windows fonts, and I'm going to just choose, you know, I don't know, any font at all. I'm going to choose that one. And I've got the 12. I may just look in wireframe, and I can scale it a little bit and move it down to roughly match this. Okay, so I've got that one. Shift-D to duplicate. I'm going to pull down the 12 there, go into edit mode, backspace, and write a 6. And I've got that. Now I'm going to duplicate that. G, I'm going to pull it over to where the 9 would be. Go into edit mode, backspace, 9. And then Shift-D to duplicate, pull that over to where the 3 is. Go in there, backspace, 3. And now go back into solid view. So I now have my numbers. And I'm going to take them and I'm going to pull them in a little bit more. And I'm going to do something like that. And I'm going to right click, convert them to mesh. And it's done. It's a little bit of a crazy mesh, but that's okay. Let's check and see if everybody's okay. Yeah. All right. So now we need to do the pin or circle that holds the hands. And then we're pretty much done. So let's go Shift-A, mesh, cylinder. We'll use a cylinder this time. Open it up. We only need like 16 vertices, something quite small. And I'll choose nothing here so that there's nothing on either end. Take this, I'll scale it down. Let's rotate X 90. And we can look in wireframe. Scale it to the approximate size. It's not going to be exactly on the diagram, but I could consider taking the diagram and GX and move it a little bit, just so it's a little bit more accurate in making this. So we'll scale it like that. And then what we want to do is we want to close up this end. So I press 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there, F to make a face, and Control B to bevel, hold Shift and pull down, and I only need probably my 3 and shade smooth. And if you want, you can take this edge here and pull it back a little further if it's bothering you for any reason. It's certainly not going to stick through. All right, so we've got that there. And now let's make some hands. We'll do this one here. I may make it straight and then turn it. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to do it with a plane. So take that, rotate X 90, and I'm going to sort of eyeball the size of it. In fact, I think I want it to be covered by the circle, so I want to make it a little narrower than the circle. So I'm going to do that, and I'm in edge selection number 2. I'm going to grab this edge, and I'm going to want it a little bit past the circle. As you can see, it sticks out. I'm going to take the front end, and I'm going to pull it up, and I see that it looks like it goes kind of like that length, something like that. But it tapers off, so I'm going to bring it to about there, and then extrude up and make it into not quite a point. I'm going to take both of those and pull them back a little bit. All right, let's try that. So I've got that. I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to extrude down like that, and I'm going to delete that bottom face. We're not going to need it. No one's going to see it. I'm going to take this and Alt-N, recalculate outside. It was flipped, and if you don't know it, you can always do that anyhow. I'm going to select these 2 edges here in edge selection. I want to bevel them. But when I do that, they're probably going to hit and cross over and cause problems. So as I do this, I'm going to press C for clamp, and then they'll hit, and they can't go past each other. I can then roll my mouse up to get it a bit smoother, but some of the vertices have overlapped there. So I'm now going to press M, merge by distance, and it's gotten rid of some vertices, and we're ready to go. Still in edge selection, I'm going to Shift Alt and click here, get that whole edge. I'm going to bevel that a bit, but I don't need too many. Let's see, there's 2, 3, 4, I'll go for 5. Sort of make it nice and round there. And sorry for the background noise. I'm going to come in here, grab that edge and this edge, and I'm going to bevel this. And I'll still use the 5. That's fine. Shift Alt and click this edge, and Shift Alt and click here, and go all the way around here. And now I'm going to bevel here, and I'll only need the 3. There's 2, there's 3, and I've got my first hand. And let's see, let's go into wireframe, and let's set the 3D cursor to the pivot, and looking in orthographic view, let's just click rotate and move it. And it's not bad. I can still go into, make sure I'm in edit mode, 1 for vertex selection. I can box select all these vertices, and I can just pull them by hand down if I want. And if I really wanted to, I could pull this up. I got to be careful though because of all this stuff, so I would grab from all there and pull them up. So I've got one of my hands there. We'll figure out how high to put that in just a minute. Okay, that'll do. Back in the wireframe, let's do this one. So same idea. I'm going to bring in a plane and scale it down. Again, I want it a little narrower than the bolt there, the circle. Cylinder, rotate X 90. So we can start with that, and I'm going to pull it a little bit outside of the circle. And then this one is going to go up quite close to the tick marks. So I'm going to bring it straight up, and imagine it goes to around there, and then just come out of this, go back into median point, S to scale, bring it in quite far, but it doesn't have to make an actual point. We're going to round that in just a moment. Take it out, let's go back into solid view, and as you can see, my numbers are pretty thick, so I might pull them back, but I'm just going to give that a bit of thickness. I'll get rid of the bottom, and we're going to do the same thing up here. Let's flip this first, and let's grab these edges, and we're going to bevel, and that clamping is probably still on. See the way it hits? Because we set it before. If I want to turn it off, I press C again. Now they'll overlap. Press C, they'll hit, roll my mouse up, just like that. Rounding is such a small object anyhow. Come on down here. I'm going to take the whole thing actually, and I'm going to move it out, GY. Just move it up above that hand, and then we'll figure out where they're all supposed to go. Select that edge and that edge, and I'm going to bevel that, and I'll probably go with the 5. You can certainly use less than that. Control Alt and click that upper edge, and I'm going to bevel, but I just want to look up at the top, although it's not going to be a problem at all. Control B, pull, hold Shift. There's a problem. It's working there. Let's try that again. Yeah, okay. I'm going to select it all. M, merge by distance. I may not have merged before when I did this, and that was causing a problem with my bevel. So now that I've done that, I should be able to select again, Control B and pull, and I probably can get away with just a 3. All right, I can shade smooth as well. We may have some shading issues we can deal with later. So I have that hand, so let's maybe get that into the position that we want. I'm going to set my 3D cursor back to there, and I'm going to click R to rotate. Oh, I didn't get everything. What's going on? I didn't have it all selected. Rotate. Oh boy, almost the perfect size. And I think that's probably okay like that. All right, so we got one more hand to do, and then we'll figure out the order that these are supposed to be in. So one more, and this one sticks out quite far. Let's go back to median point, Shift A, mesh, plane, scalar, rotate X 90, scale it down. And for this one, I think I'm going to drag it over here, and I'm going to rotate it till it's roughly in the orientation that I want. I may take a couple of tries to do that. And I'm going to grab this edge and just pull it back, and this edge I'm going to take and just G and just pull it out to here. And I'm going to press S to scale and make it nice and narrow, so I have a nice long pointer like that. Pull it out a bit. I'm going to extrude down. I can't really see it, so I'm going to pull the whole thing up. I think I might want this a bit thicker, so I'm going to take that and scale that in the Y. Make it a little thicker like that. And then I want to get rid of that bottom face, so I'm going to slash key to focus on this. Come to the underside, 3 for face selection, delete that face, and I'll just leave it like that for now. And let's zoom way into this top part here. 2 for edge selection, select that. Actually, let's flip it first. Okay, 2 for edge selection, select that one and that one, and I'm going to Control B. Is clamping on? Yes, it is. 1, 2, that's good enough. Let's select and merge by distance. I got rid of 2. Don't forget that time, or this time. And we'll come down to the very end, select this edge and this edge, and let's bevel that like that. Let's say Shift Alt and click the whole top, and we'll bevel this just with 3. Okay, so there's 3. Okay, shade smooth, / key to bring everything back. And I'm just going to look up here. I'm looking at my clock. It looks like that's the order. So it's this one first. So let's take that and move it up like, sort of like that. So it's the second hand, the minute hand, and then the hour hand. And I apologize if I've got that wrong at all, but that's kind of how it is. The only thing is I kind of would like them all a little bit lower. So I'm going to select all of these. In fact, now they're pretty close. This one could maybe, yeah, okay. This one, and this one, I'm going to pull them all down. And then I may bring the numbers in a little bit as well. So that one, this one, this one, I guess I didn't have them joined. I'm going to Control J to join them, and I'm going to GY and pull them under just a little bit more, and save. And I think we have done it. Okay, let's have a quick look. Yeah, this is a question of if this thing sticks out too much, you might want to take that and select that face, Control plus to expand the selection to about there, and then pull it down a little bit like that. Save again. And what I'll do is I will hide all that stuff, and we can have a look at our watch face or watch body. It's always good to do it with a shiny matte cap so you can test your shading and look for any problem spots, but it's looking pretty good. So really that is it for the watch body and watch face all modeled. How about we take a look at the statistics, by the way? Okay, almost 100,000, 90,000. So it's definitely up there, but we modeled everything, right? And I was asked if I would do a watch band for this as well, so I will do that in part 3, and we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to put a piece of glass over top of it or texture this. I mean, that's something else. I just wanted to do sort of a beginner's modeling and leave it at that for now. All right, so hopefully that's useful, helpful, interesting, something like that, and I will see you in part 3.